And from the goalpost, Miami State High School.
I've got something really exciting I want to talk about today. I want to take you back to 1990 and to an event that was very big in Australia back in the 80s and 90s called Rock Eisteddfod. For those of you who don't know, Rock Eisteddfod was an inter-schools competition where each school that entered would have to put together a performance, a dance performance. The performance had to be 8 minutes long. Now, Miami State High School that I went to was well known for Rock Eisteddfod in the late 80s. However, they hadn't won a Rock Eisteddfod. They came second in 89. When they came second, I remember sitting in the audience at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre with 10,000 people. Angry Anderson made the comment that he loved the performance, he loved the colour, the dance, the entire show. However, he said that Miami's performance was lacking a storyline. Now, for Eddie Leeon, who was our head of film and television at the time and also in charge of Rock Eisteddfod, I think Eddie took that pretty personally. Now, Eddie is a great visionary. So Eddie went away over the Christmas break and came up with a concept to give Miami its first ever state title. And instead of mashing together 2 or 3 songs, he decided to use one song. Now, there aren't too many songs that are 8 minutes long. So to find an 8-minute song was quite a stretch, and to find an 8-minute song that would actually work was even tougher. But Eddie came up with this concept, and he sat down with all the teachers and the head choreographers, and they thought he was absolutely flippin' mad to come up with this idea. Eddie is a visionary, and he knew what he wanted to do. He just had to relay that to everybody else. Now, the song he decided to use was Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light. So Eddie had to convince all of the teachers and students that this was a great concept. Anyway, everyone started rehearsing, and I was in grade 12 in 1990. So I decided to do Rock Eisteddfod. I had some dance experience. However, I landed the lead role in the musical Grease. So I was playing Danny Zuko. So as soon as I landed that role, I pulled out of the Rock Eisteddfod. Now, for Miami to do both a Rock Eisteddfod and musical in 1 year was huge. They only do a musical once every 3 years. So for Miami to do both was massive. So anyway, I was focusing on Grease, and the state final was in May, about 3 weeks before our opening night of Grease. I was in class one day, 48 hours before the Rock Eisteddfod state final, and Eddie knocked on my classroom door and asked my teacher if he could speak with me. And I thought, shit, I'm in trouble here. So Eddie pulls me outside and he says to me, "Can you learn the routine in 48 hours? I went, wow. I guess. He says, look, you're going to have all the resources you need to learn this routine in 48 hours. And the reason why Eddie asked me to do it was because David O'Brien, who was one of the first boys, got a punctured lung. So there I was trying to learn this routine in 48 hours. So we're there 24 hours before the show. We're rehearsing in Miami's Great Hall, and I'm giving it full out. I'm going tits and teeth, the whole bit. My father and I were living in Surfers Paradise at the time. Anyway, Dad went away for a few weeks. I said to all the boys, I said, why don't we have a party at my place? So I've got about 20 of the guys crashing at my place. We had a stinking great night. We've got to bed, I think, somewhere around about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. We've all woken up to the alarm at 5 o'clock, jumped in our cars, driven down to Miami High School, and we've lobbed up, and the look on Eddie Leon's face was just like, you're f***ing kidding me. This is the biggest day of our lives, and you're out getting pissed the night before and you've had 1 hour's sleep. If looks could kill, we would have been dead. He wasn't angry. He was the worst type of disappointed possible. Now, keep in mind, the concept of Rock Eisteddfod isn't about just dancers. Most of the people in Rock Eisteddfod at Miami High and at other schools were, especially the guys, just normal blokes. Most of the main guys that you'll see in the video are football players. So to put this together was a huge feat. So we went and did our technical run, and when we did our dress run, Rochdale High, who were our biggest competition, had noticed that the girls had an extra rim around the bottom of their skirts. So you can see on the video here, the girls are in orange, but there's a blue rim around the bottom. Now, these skirts in themselves, the orange skirts, were quite short. I think the thinking behind it between the heat and the final was to give the girls a little bit more modesty. So they tacked the blue around the bottom, and it also matched what the boys were wearing. Now, the problem with this was that it was strictly stated in the rules that you can't add to your routine, your props, or your costume between the heats and the final. You can improve on it, you can do it better, but you can't make any significant changes. And that was classified as a significant change. So there was a debate going about, and there was some arguing back and forth between Rochdale High and ourselves and the judges. And there was talk that we were going to be disqualified. There was also talk that we'd have to unstitch all of those frills along the bottom, which would have taken a lot of time and taken away from rehearsals. As it turned out, as you can see, they got to wear them. That put a bit of a chip on our shoulders. We had our backs against the wall, and I remember Eddie pulling us all into the dressing room before the main performance and standing on a chair in front of, I think there was about 80 of us. And he's standing on this chair, he's got his mullet, as you did back in those days, And I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was basically along the lines of, I want you to use this anger and frustration and channel the energy of what they're trying to do to us to win. So we all went out on stage, and I've spent 20 years as a professional performer, but this was my first occasion on a big stage. And when the music struck up and the lights took off, it was just the biggest buzz I've ever had in my life. So Rock Eisteddfod was really important to students back then, and it's such a shame that it's no longer around. And it was a great opportunity for people to showcase their talent. It's a really good stepping stone for kids to get that idea and that feeling of what it's like to be a professional performer. So what I'd love for you to do now is go and check out the link that I've put in the description, which is the 1990 Miami State High School winning state Rock Eisteddfod performance. I won't put it on this video because Meatloaf is one of the artists around the world that is a bit funny with copyright on YouTube. So the actual video of our performance has been blocked in quite a few countries. You can see it here in Australia, but the US and the UK and a few other countries it's been blocked. So I don't want to block it again on this video, but I will put the link in the description. Go and check it out. If you've enjoyed the video, please share it with anyone. If you're from other schools, please share it with your schools. Let's get other videos like this made. There are some videos of Rock Eisteddfod online, but very few. If you go to Miami High, or you went to Miami High, or you know anyone from Miami High, please share it with anyone who went to Miami High back in the 90s. So let's get it out there and enjoy what was Miami State High School's 1990 winning Rock Eisteddfod performance.